Good start by both Susan Vanderaa and Melody Savage in this second game of our third week. Vanderaa with a back-to-back spares out of Regina in her 9th appearance on TSN. There's her first strike out of the Glencairn Bolodrome.
Out of balance, but she still managed to get the ball over the line at the point of release. She had balance there, extended enough, got the results with a strike. Melody Savage bowls 16 games, averages 200 plus in Manitoba. Oh, the break there from behind. There's the difference when you see something like that happen than when you watch the pins come from behind. Now there's the release, there's the expanded hand where it reaches right over the top, and then she get that little bit extra lift on the bowling ball.
She's a former Pins Game champion. That was back in the 97-98 season. And a couple of years ago won this event, the Canadian Bowling Championship. Won more than $18,000 on TV.
She gets lots of splash from the pins and lots of sometimes what you would call reaction that you wouldn't expect because of the speed that she has. Pretty consistent at it.
She's a 3-time member of Team Canada.
Likes to golf, has a good golf game, and it's pretty interesting to see how many of the bowlers that are good bowlers are excellent golfers and excellent curlers. And a lot of it is the extension and the thinking and the mental game that you have to play in all of these games. Susan will be whipping this ball right out there and straight out, and over we go. No question about it.
Susan is also a former member of the national team. Represented Canada back in 1997 in Cairo, Egypt.
You notice there the rotation as the ball tightens up. The ball will hit the pocket in the same position you release it with your thumb. If your thumb is ending up, aimed into the left, that's where your ball's going to go. Watch as she releases it, pushes it out, brings it back. There's the thumb right over there, and there's the turn. A little bit upside down with the thumb at the release point, and that's why it skipped over a little bit.
A little bit full on the head pin from Susan Vanderaa, who works for Thrifty Car Rental.
Actually surprising to see just how quick the women have been bowling in the series. Very few of them are diddling around on the approach. They get up, they do their job, and then they walk back and get on with their game.
Nicely done for Susan as she picks up the spare in 5. She's had a mark in all 5 frames so far.
Melody is a strong bowler, and she's got a wristband on, a little different than some of them where they've got the metal contraption. This thing's not quite that way, but as she releases the ball at the line, we'll try and catch it. She just is so solid, and she drives the hand right there. You see her, she drives the hand, not the way she wanted, but she comes through, and that's what you try to do, is keep your hand behind right at the line. Now as she pushes it, brings it back, gets herself settled up, index finger tapping it for motion, brings the hand through, and right here you'll see her pull up a little bit on the bowling ball. But look at the beautiful knee bend.
So her first open comes in the 5th with a 9 count, 95 through 5. Susan Vanderaa with a spare up.
Melody thinking about it. Now what you'll be seeing here is she sets herself up, lands it up, and she will bring the ball, she will lift the ball, and her thumb comes out first, and then the fingers, and as she's lifting and then turning, Then you get the rotation or the revolutions on the bowling ball. But you stay in the ball with your fingers as long as you can and get the ball rolling out there. Inserts on her fingers, holds there. Now she pushes it down here, brings it back. Now she turns it.
Nice cover of the 10 pin for her spare, Melody Savage in 6.
That's a pretty good game, actually. 95 to 106 potential.
But it's advantage Susan Vanderaa right now to Regina.
Career high 779. What a series. 279, 278, 222, and right now she'll settle for a strike.
She has it. Keeps that pin count going. Up by 11 now through 5.
It was nice to see that ball, and we'll catch it up on this one here. It's nice to see that bowling ball go down the lane. Straight in, and once it starts going in on the curve, it'll skid, roll, and hook. So either you curve or hook. Whenever it gets going down there, it just goes right into the block. A little bit too much that time. The 610 remains standing. Periodically, and we've seen it, and now she is doing it. Sometimes the bowlers will use the same bowling ball. Many of the bowlers today in this level of competition will use a hard ball on the first shot, and this particular one is a little bit softer and a little bit harder, rather, and it will go straighter at the pins. Too straight.
Oh boy.
That brings the match right back into a new level.
Yep, because it's just untimely here. We talk about those open frames and how they can hurt, and they are pin count killers. 134 through 7 now with the open frame for Vanderaa, and you see the spare up in the 6th for Melody Savage.
This is where the talent will step up to the plate. Melody knows that she needs a strike here. At least she needs to get a spare, but she'll be right back into the thick of things. A good strike will really... 10 pin didn't go down, unfortunately for her, but in the meantime, she has a chance. If she gets a spare here on a strike, the match will be even. Both of them are well aware of what's at stake. $10,000 will buy a lot of steaks.
Yes, yes, it will. Good cover for the spare in the 7th.
This is such a game of fractions of inches because there's nothing wrong with what Susan did other than that she just came a little bit too flush with the pin and as a result chopped it off. Now Melody needs a strike and this game is tied. All set, everything goes quiet, and she took a breath right there, and you see her push the ball out. Watch the splatter of these.
Oh boy, that's tough.
That was a good shot. She's a little disappointed in that because that was a good hit. Left-hand corner pin remains standing, the 7th pin. So we have a 133, 1 pin separating, 133 for Melody and 134 for Susan.
Melody, who works for Instabox, she's their office manager, makes the cover. So after that open that came in the 5th, that's 3 straight spares for Melody Savage. And there's 1 pin separating the 2 with Susan Vanderaa throwing now in 8.
Interestingly enough, both women have been on television 9 times. Melody has won $18,000. And Susan, despite throwing a beautiful ball like that, has only to date won $6,000. Because most of the time when she, in fact, the first time she was ever on television, she won $50. In the meantime, she's gone a long way since then. And this is one of the reasons. Look how sweet this is. That red spot tells the story. The tighter it is, you can take a bowling ball and you inject the oil on a bowling lane and you'll see just a fraction of an inch down there where the oil rolls. She needs a double here. It would really help. Not that kind of double. She wants 2 strikes. You notice that when the women, and men as well, but particularly in our series here as we've gone along, the women, as they let go of the bowling ball and they want to get a little more action, they rear back up on the approach. Going across, 4-7 is what's up. And down. So now, interestingly enough, we have again still a 154 that is for Susan, and 153 potential with a strike here for Melody. So this is very important. And they could switch around. This is where the pin count on the first ball is so critical. This is a good hit.
Oh boy, great action to get that 10 pin.
She has set up the anchor frame very well. Strike in the 9th. She gets a double. She throws all of the pressure right back onto Susan. The anchor frame, the 9th frame. Strike in here. What a final we have going right now. Final couple of frames. Very determined, very serious on her delivery and approach.
Just a little wide, huh?
Now the advantage that she has is because she had a strike there, she didn't lose any pin count to date. Despite the fact that's a tough spare shot or a tougher shot. She is now still in a position to only be 1 point out. If she makes the spare, then she needs to bury the ball and get a pressure, because Susan's been getting 8 counts along the way. Melody needs this shot.
Oh, very nice to drive it right through.
Notice how she did that. She went onto the left-hand side and then shot straight at it. Goes right across the lane and a lot of power and straight down the throat. No question about it.
And then checks her toes just to see how close to the line she was. So spare up. 173 through 9 for Melody Savage.
We have a potential tie if we see her get a strike in here, and then even though Susan can actually win it with a strike, she's been getting 8 counts, and that would make the difference. Now there's the difference right there, 18. So she's got a 191, and so you need to see Susan get a strike, spare strike, and it's game over. Unless she gets some weird and wonderful count on the first ball. I don't think that's going to happen today. She set herself up pretty good. Now there's
now that's the weird thing.
That's exactly that's the cost her the game, right? In that one shot. Watch this. Watch this. She needs. Wow. Who would have thought of that? One shot there. She needs to try and go for the spare.
Oh, goodness.
Give her credit.
Oh, my.
Give her credit. She went for it. She's got 181 to 191. And I'll tell you, the one frame, as I said, one shot.
Susan Vanderaa just misses a tough spare on the split. But Melody Savage, the former champion, will move on and try to win a second Canadian Women's 10-pin championship.